that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for one man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put him in a cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but man's keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls, let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
Stugotz, I was going to start with David Samson and talking to him about the 8-year, $120 million contract that Erik Spoelstra just signed.
Yep.
But right before I was going to do so, Billy tells me that he's thinking about becoming a briefcase guy. We're going to get to that as well. And Chris Cody tells me, and this one was infuriating. This is exactly how not to executive produce right before the microphones go on. He says to me in my ear, "Hey, Dan, Samson was on Cinephile with Adnan talking about the Golden Globes, and you were right. They're really good together." Then why are they so rarely together is the question that I would ask you, because it's something I've wanted for the better part of 3 years.
Very fair point. Chris is just finding this out, though.
No, but it's not. Chris cannot say with a straight face, he cannot say that I have not been in his ear for a long time saying, put these two chemicals together. It will be fun, explosive, and we'll have more information about the Golden Globes than anyone on earth actually wants. Because the two of them have, you and he share commonalities here. Here, you guys could talk forever. Correct, David?
And we did. And I'm not even sure Chris was there during the taping yesterday, actually.
I edited it, though, after, so I listened to it.
Were you with me?
No, I was doing the show. It was in show.
Okay.
You actually, we don't need to talk about it, but there was a slight audio issue with the Zoom yesterday, so you might hear the shipping container sporadically through the Adnan, just in the background. It's like people are having a conversation, like 10 feet away from Adnan and Samson.
You got to keep that one in the vest. Like, don't say that one. Let people think, oh, I think I heard something. But I think there's people talking around me. I don't know. You got to let that one go.
Were you trying to edit it out as a producer and just couldn't? There was nearby ambient sound of a conversation that had nothing to do with a professional podcast.
I know the way this looks. Everyone's going to think that this was just my fault. I had Byram. His head was exploding because we were testing my Zoom after the mistake happened. I had to delete Zoom and it was a Zoom mistake. It wasn't my mistake. I tested it afterwards to make sure, and Byram can confirm this. I know everyone's thinking right now.
Well, Billy's shaking his head.
I saw the way Byram was interacting with you, and it was kind of like when you're like, a little kid's explaining to you, like, no, a monster like ate this, and you're like, oh, okay, a monster ate it.
I'm telling you, don't make me get Byram on the air. I was not wrong here. It was not my mistake. It was a technical error.
Don't make you?
I had Danny GQ, and his head was like, wait, what? How could that possibly happen?
That's exact, but that's the part I think you're misreading. I think that they don't believe your story when they're like, how could that possibly happen?
No, because Billy, we did a Zoom afterwards. I was like, let's try it again and see if it happens again. And it happened the exact same way where I muted my Zoom and yet my computer still picked up sound.
All right, so at least you didn't ruin this show also by talking about this too much. I
thought it would draw attention to it. Now people are going to go want to check out. Okay. Ooh, what did it sound like?
Our computers are spying on us. And Chris found it by mistake in a Zoom.
We knew that.
Yeah. No, but now confirmed because Chris's computer was recording everything that was going on, even though he muted it.
Wait, Chris.
When does the show come out?
It's out.
Chris, you are turning your bad production into a positive, saying people will go look for it. They'll seek it out.
I am turning Zoom's mistake into a positive.
Not Byram's, though.
You're a modern-day Christopher Columbus who accidentally stumbled across the continent when he was trying to find something else.
Sarcastic tone because it implies that the mistake was actually really mine.
Okay, is it also Byram's fault that this show has now started with 2 minutes of this talk in the middle of David Samson's segment? Samson, the Erik Spoelstra. We'll get to briefcases, Billy, because I want to get your thoughts on this. But the Spoelstra contract, what did you make of that? The Heat don't usually do that stuff where they announce an extension with actual figures. That's not something that they go about doing very often. So I was surprised to see this. And the timing was interesting, too, for reasons I'm sure you noticed.
Well, it's hard. Did everybody notice that this was announced? He's got it. This is the last year of his deal. So it's a nice contract to give. He's got the most money, the biggest contract ever. Not the highest paid per year, but the most guaranteed money. And it gets announced and done after his divorce is over. And I'm sorry to talk about that, but it's not a coincidence. And I think anyone around the business of sports has been a part of this, where a player has come up to us or a coach or a staff member saying, hey, I'm in the middle of a divorce. Can we not do our contract until my divorce is over? And as an executive, my answer was always the same. Hey, we're going to do it when we do it. And you better take care of your business now. Because if you think that you're going to sign a big contract for $100 million 2 weeks after a divorce is finalized, and that your ex is not going to have something to say about it, that just means that your ex has bad lawyers. So I understand what Erik may have been trying to do, what the Heat may have been trying to do, but I assume his wife wasn't born yesterday. I assume this doesn't come as a major surprise to anybody on either side. But I'm happy for Erik, but I feel for what he's going through. But it is awesome seeing the pictures of him as video coordinator now as the highest notionally paid coach ever. It's amazing.
Are you sorry to bring up the divorce?
No.
I feel bad for what he's going through, but I'm just going to point out all the uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah, because there's other interesting stuff here.
Do you feel bad for what he's going through?
No, I can relate to it. I don't feel badly for it.
You just said
We
you
all,
did.
So 50%
it all
of what you
happens.
said was true.
It seems like something that you said there was less than honest. Like all of the things you just said cannot be true. Did you just pay lip service, legitimate lip service to? Yeah, I'm supposed to say here that I'm sorry to point out the divorce, and I'm supposed to stay here that I feel terribly for people getting divorced, but I'm a loveless person.
Didn't say that.
All I
said is
correction. Correction. You know what? I apologize. You're not a loveless person. You love content. So you don't.
At least he found love, Dan. I mean,
That's worse. You're killing me. So it's a very interesting business question, is when a deal gets finalized, and this happens not just in divorce, it happens when you sell a house. What happens if you sell a house and then all of a sudden gold is discovered under the house? Do you get to keep that gold? Or does the former owner of the house have a claim to that gold that was reasonably known or could have been known to have been in there but had not been discovered prior to the sale? Any thoughts on that?
you have to find the gold during the time that you live in the house. Otherwise, it's the next person's gold.
No, but he's saying in the interim. He's saying you're asking the question as a hypothetical. You're in the process of selling your house. You have sold your house, agreed in principle to terms, but haven't actually signed the paperwork, and now you find gold under your house.
And the question is, who gets the gold?
The
What
government.
is the value assigned to it, and how do you split that? And so there are things that you do in a contract when you have a sports figure, whether it's a coach or a player. Everybody publicly knows the terms of your deal, but it doesn't matter, because in a divorce there's something called discovery, where Erik Spoelstra's wife gets to see everything about Erik Spoelstra's life. And she knows through her lawyers that his contract, what it is with the Heat, she gets a copy of it if she hadn't seen it before, all the provisions. She knows what every other coach is getting paid. And then she knows what he can expect to get paid as a quote-unquote free agent coach. So he signs this deal. Does she not get a part of that as part of what his total estate is that gets split upon his divorce? Is he fooling anybody with this extension? The timing and the announcement is bizarre to me. Is it possible that he did, and this is where maybe there's a little personal knowledge in here, Is it not of him, but of other people? Is it possible that he did a global settlement where he gave her X dollars and that's the end of it, and he can go find whatever gold he wants from the Heat? He can get ownership of the Heat, or he can find $10 million hidden under his home and his wife doesn't get that. All of those things are possible, but I think the timing is interesting. But from a basketball standpoint, is he the greatest coach of all time? Is that why he deserves that amount of money? And I had a hard time saying no to that, and that surprised me.
I erred here in not playing the reckless speculation sound.
Time to throw away all journalistic credibility and get reckless. Here is something we like to call reckless speculation.
You're good.
Well, it's a little late.
I
All of
know.
that. He already
Yeah,
made the
I
point.
know, but I had to
everything.
say it.
Would you guys want to find gold? Because, like, finding gold here's the thing about gold.
Yes.
Gold is, for the most part, like, marked or stamped, right? So you need to have a plan of how you're going to melt it down and reform the gold so that you lose that. And if you find, like, treasure, it's always going to be like Spain claims that belongs to like the castle or whatever, like the royal family. Like there's no gold that's out there that is unclaimed. Like this idea of we're going to find treasure and I'm going to keep it and be rich doesn't exist unless you have like someone on the black market that you can kind of melt down the gold and the jewels and sell it through.
How about any Cuban jewelry that has a melter in the back that you can just go to, hey, papi, go aquí, and
I'm
then
just
you
saying,
cut him a little piece, that's it.
If you find gold, and David, maybe you know about this, I don't know, but if you find gold or money, you can't just like flaunt it. Like you need to live in poverty. You can't. If you find $150,000 in cash, you have to turn it in because someone's gonna come looking for it. And if you turn it in, they're like, "Here's a $400 like finder's fee."
Turn it in.
No, that's how it works.
Talking
guys.
about
That's how it works.
Turn it in
Finders
where?
keepers. I mean,
To the cops?
You can't
Please.
flaunt it. You can't flaunt it because then people are gonna be like, "Where did all that money come
going
from?"
right in my closet.
And then that's the thing. You need to do it like that. But the person that lost it, if it was in the house before you, they're gonna know they lost that money and they're gonna come looking for it.
So if you find $150K in a briefcase on the street,
Yeah.
that's what you're referring to, that you're going to return the briefcase and you're going to hope for a reward?
Well, he might
Is that-
return the money and keep
And
the
keep it,
briefcase.
yes.
based on
Yeah,
that.
I tell them like, you guys, I just want the
Found a
briefcase.
briefcase.
Yeah,
Whoa.
exactly right. Free briefcase, we're square. We're good here. Little scratch for daddy, we're good.
Billy did say in the middle of all that, who gets the gold? He did say the government. The government gets the gold in the interim. In that
You don't end up with I'm telling you, some Spanish something is going to come and be like, oh, that was ours. We lost that. Give it back to us now. Thank you.
we have failed both the Heat and Erik Spoelstra in how we've discussed this for 10 minutes. Because to me, the story is a guy from the video room. A guy works his way up through the stability of an organization, learning at the knee of a legend who is now a bit of a yammerer. Erik Spoelstra is somebody who's clearly in line to run this franchise, not just as coach, in whatever incarnation the franchise looks. My guess is they're making promises to him about having power beyond coaching.
it's a great story. It'd be like Lewis rising all the way up to your level. I mean, that's what it would be like. Seriously, video room to running the company. It's a fantastic, amazing story, and he is the best coach in the NBA. There's no question about it, for my money.
You don't
Is that
have
because he
any
gets the
money
most
here.
out of the least?
Hopefully I'll find some.
Well, it's because he's evolved. It's because he's done it with a variety of different different ways, different. Look, I went to the dentist yesterday. I'm going to tell this story later. And the advancements in dentistry showed me that your dentists need to evolve.
The rare dental tease. I mean,
That's right. I've got.
I'm going to tell the
I'm
story.
locked in, though.
Not now.
I
Later.
can't.
can't wait.
Coming up on the
It's
10 o'clock
a good
hour.
story.
Dan went to the dentist.
It's a good story. I'm promising you that I learned something. I had my eyes opened yesterday. I did not know that the dentist could be a pleasant experience like a spa. Didn't know that they have gotten, yes.
Now I'm intrigued.
See? Now you don't even want me to tease it for later. You want me to tell you
I want
right
it
now
now.
what it
Yeah.
is.
It's been a while for me.
But no, he's evolved, David. He hasn't gotten stuck in his ways. He clearly can win with an assortment of different parts, and he's clearly making parts that we don't think anything of better. I don't know who else you would go with. I mean, Pop would get the most of the attention there, but we've seen the last couple of years what happens when Pop has some Gabe Vincents.
The highest paid coach right now, I believe, is Monty Williams. But that is reckless speculation. I believe he is the highest paid.
No, that's right. The Pistons coach makes $78.5 million guaranteed.
They're 3-34.
That's correct.
Is this a situation like quarterbacks in the NFL where like every coach is going to be the next highest paid coach?
Not every coach, but Monty Williams in Detroit, they had to incentivize it in order to. Amin told us he didn't even want to coach, but it became so much money that he had to. So he set the standard, and then Erik Spoelstra signs for this. Before, David, we didn't know the salaries of coaches. When and how did that change?
Well, internally, we always knew as industries, you're given actually a survey. When you hire a coach, you're sort of told where that coach should slot in according to the years of experience and what the ceiling would be. That's why everyone was so angry when the Cubs gave Counsell what he got, or when Monty Williams got what he got. We got in trouble when we gave Ozzie Guillen what we gave Ozzie Guillen in terms of years and money. We overpaid. It's funny, you guys think we didn't pay enough. We overpaid for a manager and got in trouble for it. And I think it's them and their agents trying to extract more money, thinking that they are responsible for the success of the team. Is Erik Spoelstra responsible, or is it the person who gives Erik Spoelstra the players? That's the question that is the eternal question.
Well, the stability, though. I want to talk about the stability because you shrug your shoulders, David, but there's not a lot of precedent for Guy being with organization long enough. Now, when I say Guy, I mean Pat Riley, too. I don't mean just Spoelstra, to even make the climb because organizations have so much turnover that you don't have the same voice all the time. This has been 30 years of the same voice.
It is a unique example. I think people in Miami don't realize the combination of Spoelstra and Riley specifically, what he's done for the amount of years, it's unheard of. It's truly amazing. He didn't have this with the Lakers or the Knicks. He's a Heat. He's actually, if Pat Riley, Hall of Fame, he's a Heat, which is hard to imagine given that. Are there people in Miami who don't realize he was the coach of the Showtime Lakers? I guess there probably are. Which blows my mind. He should be known as a Laker guy or a Knick guy.
But he's a Heat.
He's Heat?
It's a weird thing to say.
Do the Heat have the strangest name in all of sports? And that, like, when you say someone's a Heat.
The singular ones are tough. He's a Jazz doesn't work either.
Lightning, Avalanche. He's a Magic.
All right, they all
Panther.
Stink.
I think that the Heat suffer, though. I think you talk about continuity and turnover. I like turnover a little bit. I had too much, but I think the Heat have too little. I think new voices become important. I think there's a staleness. You're seeing it a little with Golden State. I think that Steve Kerr's gotten a little bit stale, and I think that eventually you have to make a change.
David, if you're running the New York Jets, what do you do with Aaron Rodgers? What do you do with Rodgers' appearances on Pat McAfee every week? What do you do with all of that?
I ask Rodgers to stop, and I think it's going to stop anyway. I think ESPN will tell McAfee that next season Rodgers can't do it. And I think that Rodgers will have an easy landing by saying, I'm playing again. I don't want to take the time each week. I want to prepare for my opponents. And I think McAfee then gets an easy landing saying that, hey, he's busy doing other things. We've moved on. And then Jimmy Kimmel gets to be told he got a victory that Rodgers is no longer a guest on a Disney show. So I think that everybody wins in that scenario. And I think if you're Woody Johnson, it's too late. You know this, Stu. Aaron Rodgers won. He won with Robert Saleh and Douglas not getting fired because that's what Rodgers wanted. And for whatever reason, Woody Johnson thinks that Rodgers is going to be a Super Bowl quarterback again. As a Jets fan, do you actually think that he's going to be good enough to bring your team into January next year?
I think he'll be good, but David, I understand what you're saying. They're so desperate. That organization is so desperate, they're allowing a 40-year-old coming off an Achilles tear to run their organization. It's ludicrous.
Well, but you should be, as a fan, you should be fed up. And at some point, you've got to take your fandom out for a walk because of the way that why is it that people are willing to walk away from the Marlins, let's say, but you're not willing to walk away from the Jets? With what exactly have you had as a benefit of being a Jet fan recently?
Nothing. I mean, for 40 years, not recently, 40 years, I've had absolutely nothing. Zilch.
I've said the same thing about the Dolphins.
Right.
The Dolphins, Greg Cody was saying that they could win their first playoff game Saturday since 2000.
Mm-hmm.
There's people who are born and are now out of college already. They've never seen one playoff win. That's not a success.
The cold in Kansas City, Stugotz, for this Dolphin game. You talk about a bad break. It's going to be one of the coldest football games ever played. As Tony said as he walked in here today, it's going to be -0.
I was looking for a number and then 0 popped up. I don't know why.
Can't misspeak around here.
0.
I mean, they'll have to suck it up. Raiders Browns 1981, Dan. They played with wind chill -36. I mean, come on. That's balmy -0.
-0 with 10 mile to 20 mile per hour winds seems a bad recipe for accurate flutter balls thrown by your quarterback. Those things don't seem good. Somebody will play sleeveless, right? Somebody?
Of course, yes.
Offensive linemen, don't they?
Barrios.
Barrios, put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Is Barrios going to play sleeveless in -0 weather?
I've got Christian Wilkins going out pregame shirtless. I could see him doing that.
No.
Just you got to get the photo, just for the video, just for the internet.
It appears Buffalo fans are claiming that Christian Wilkins is a sexual harasser, that he is a serial Josh Allen penis grabber.
He's a honker?
He appears to be a honker. There are multiple videos of Josh Allen getting enraged because someone has honked his nether region. That's right.
Imagine you're in a pile, you got that tush push going, you're trying to get in there, and then all you feel oh, whoa, where'd that come from?
Where is the line? I mean, tush push. I mean,
Don't they wear cups? How can you grab your honker
nobody
if you're wearing a cup?
Nobody wears cups.
Gets
David.
in the way, David. Yeah.
Can you tell me, David, anything about the Marlins hiring Rachel Balkovich to be the farm director, first woman affiliated manager? Tell me the significance of the hire. It seems to me that this will be a power position, will it not?
So I want to explain what a farm director actually does. It's a very administrative position. You are not doing a lot of evaluating. You're the one in charge of all of the different managers and hitting coaches and strength people, and you're in charge of figuring out and coordinating with the travel people where players are at what level. So it's a very, very administratively heavy position. And I understand why the Marlins did it. They wanted to hire a woman having gotten rid of Kim Ng, and so they wanted to look progressive. I love the fact that there's an opportunity, but I want to make sure that people don't excuse. I want there to be another woman GM who's a player personnel person, of course, but as an administrative farm director, it's an important role. But the other hires that the Marlins have made, who are evaluating talent and deciding who the players are going to be, who are put in the farm, the people running the draft, those are going to be the difference makers that help your organization get better. Farm director, while it's a sexy position, it's being misrepresented at the moment as the second most powerful person in the organization, and that is absolutely untrue.
You said look progressive. Why'd you choose that as the verb versus being progressive?
I think that teams are very interested now more so in looking progressive than being progressive.
So you're going to do the same thing that you did with Kim Ng, and it seems like you were right on that when she left the organization, at least in part, because I think the power wasn't as real as it should have been. You're saying you called that.
What do you mean as it should have been? As she wanted it to be?
No, you called it eyewash. No, she was the general manager. She what do you mean should have been?
You're right.
What are you correcting there? She's supposed to have a position of real power, not a position that looks like it's real power.
And I pointed out it wasn't.
And you're saying the same thing about this?
No, farm directors are I love my farm directors. I just think it's being misrepresented what farm directors do. So I wanted to try to educate your audience what a farm director does.
But did they hire the right person, or did they do it for appearances? That's kind of what we're asking.
It's very likely an appearance hire who could be the right person.
Okay.
I have no idea. If you've never been involved in the administration of running a minor league system, it's damn hard. So I would look for the Marlins to hire a very strong assistant farm director who will be very helpful in the mechanics. I don't know how to express to you how hard it is to run a farm system. There's so many moving parts that happen every day during the season, because you're not just managing the big league team and guys who are coming back and forth. Think about guys who have to start in single A, who then come from low season A, and then someone has to go to double A. So you're managing rosters. It's a huge administrative burden.
Samson, stay there. We'll be right back with you in a second. I have a question for you guys because I don't know the answer to what I'm about to ask. When the Dolphins-Chiefs game arrives on Saturday, how many people in South Florida who are Dolphin fans aren't going to know how to get to Peacock to get the game? How many Dolphin fans are going to think, hey, I've got a game today, playoff game, I'm excited, and now they have to do the mechanics of what do I do next? I don't have Peacock. Where's the game? Why can't I find the game? How much of that is going to happen this weekend?
First of all, it's on locally down here, but Dolphin fans not in South Florida will have this issue, but I think you guys sound super old.
Yeah.
I think at this point, most people either have Peacock or know how to get it. I mean, yes, my dad would struggle. But there is a demographic out there.
Wait a minute. It's not. I know how
It's
to
your
find.
dad.
I don't know. I know how to find the game, but I don't think it's just. You say most people know, and you'd be right, but not everyone necessarily has the means to be necessarily subscribing to a playoff game that
That's
they
a different question, though.
they expect to be free. It is a different question. But it's a question of you thought you were going to watch something on television for free. You're used to watching it for free, and now you can't get it, and now you have to either get a free trial or a subscription. And I'm guessing Peacock's not doing a whole lot of free trials for just this game.
The free trial is such a dangerous game because you get it for 7 days. You forget to cancel it before the 7 days is up. The next thing you know, your credit card is charged a lot of money. It's a dangerous game, man.
You make fun of me, and I understand, but I'm not saying this is a problem for me. But if it's a problem for the poor and the old, that's part of the NFL's audience too.
I mean, but it's the same thing as Thursday Night Football on Prime.
Yeah.
That's correct, which only one night had like 10 million viewers because they've eaten up some of their audience by doing it that way.
It's also like some games are just NFL Network exclusive games, or some games are on ESPN. If you don't have cable, you can't watch ESPN. Like, that's just part of the cable deals.
What are you shaking your head about, David?
I just can't understand. Are you arguing on behalf of people who use rabbit ears?
I'm just asking how many people are going to have difficulty with a transitional time and how sports are consumed.
It's been going on for years. So no. And by the way, it's a benefit in your market. So I assume you knew what Chris said before you asked your question. But all the people that you're claiming are having, money issues in Miami, they don't have to get Peacock this weekend.
Palm Beach does, oddly. Yeah. It's like they're doing
It's not
Monroe
Miami.
County.
Yes.
Yeah, but Broward's not Miami. Monroe County's not Miami. It's
Palm
just
Beach
weird.
can afford it.
It's just weird that that's where they're like, these three counties, but not Palm Beach.
So you guys
There's
are
no
telling
poor
me,
people in Palm Beach.
you guys are put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are there any poor people in Palm Beach? You guys don't believe this will be a number in the hundreds or the thousands of people who are having difficulty finding that Dolphin game.
Of course it will.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people just complaining about it, that not necessarily not knowing how to do it, but just like, why do I got it? But to me, it's like 5 years ago, you were paying how much for Comcast where you got all the channels, and now you got to just break it up a little bit. It's just, I mean, maybe it's first world problems, and I'm like showing my privilege here, but it's just
It is.
But it's like you were spending money at one, like a lot of money in one spot on all your channels, and now they just break it up. Now it's $10 here instead of $180 a month to Comcast. Now it's $14 here, $9 here, $6 here. Dude, Comcast got, I don't know about you, man. My Comcast
expensive,
bill, when you
yeah.
get that sports package,
HBO package.
Comcast-
No, it's a lot more than 180.
Well, that's my point. So you're proving my point. It was more than 180 you were spending before, and now people are complaining because they got to spend $7 in 10 spots.
Well, they're also complaining because they don't know how to find it.
yes, they do.
No, they don't. Your dad does not.
But my mom does. Okay. Most old people have another old person that kind of knows. Like, most people don't. Like, there's not a lot of Uncle Dicks out there that are just like, I have no clue about any of this.
All right, put this on the poll as well. Are a lot of grandchildren going to be called on Saturday and asked how to find Peacock?
I mean, did you not know how to use the internet? You just Google Peacock, Dolphins game. How do I do it? Most places will even, like, if you go to the NFL, I'm sure they have a link straight to it.
So if you had to give a number for how many people in America who are looking for this game?
83,000.
Wow. I go higher.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts on this subject, David?
I'm just laughing at the demographic that you are trying to protect here. And it's no one, the NFL doesn't care about them. And you're so upset that they don't. But it's such big business putting this game. It's not a mistake that the Chiefs are on Peacock. This is a very purposeful decision by the NFL.
It's smart.
Are
Yeah.
you trying to shame me for caring about the poor?
Voice of the poor.
I'm not shaming you. I'm just laughing at all the people who can't find you now. You're talking to people who have all made the effort to find you and your voice right now, and you don't do a lot to care about those who can't find your voice.
Oh, but do you know how many of them can't find it anymore because of
Oh,
what
I'm
we've
aware.
done?
I meet people all the time. They're like, "You guys used to be on, huh?" It's like, well, we still
I
are.
just tell them, yeah. If you don't know where we are, I'm like, yeah, we're still on ESPN.
Why do you think I'm
I do
asking
too.
the question? Because I think YouTube's pretty easy to find.
I had a conversation with someone a couple months ago that lives in Connecticut. They're like, "Oh, I had no idea that you work like you had an office so close to where we live. Like next time you're in town, like let me know. We can go out for like to eat or drinks." I'm like, "Yep, next time I'm there, I'll let you know."
What about your dad, Dan? He's like right in the demo. Is he going to be able to watch the game? Yes, probably because you or your wife helped him at some
Yeah,
point.
but on CBS he can watch it down here, as
NBC.
you pointed out.
I know,
or
but
NBC.
that's true. That's a good point. I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, if your dad lived in Palm Beach, your dad's got Peacock figured out at this point, no?
Are we not supposed to have advancements as society? I don't understand.
People generally don't like change.
Guys, you guys are missing the point. The point is the NFL is making everything they can in their universe to get all of the Swifties to go out and purchase Peacock.
Correct.
As a partner for the
a heady
NFL,
play.
the NBC
The
is
NFL's
like, you know what?
not. NBC probably decided we want to get Peacock subscriptions
NFL has the
up.
final say though, Billy.
Well, it's probably an NFL,
Honestly-
an NBC game that they've assigned to Peacock. I
It's
would
not
assume.
that crazy, though. Like, months ago, like, when there was meetings of, like, playoff games, where's going to be what? Peacock was just like, can we get the Chiefs? Yeah. Like, I could see, like, them having a meeting of being like, who do we want here for this Peacock game? The Chiefs, Rodgers, Jet. Ooh, yeah. Chiefs, Swift. That's who we want.
I think they just said not the Texans and Ty or TJ Yates.
Well, they
or
have
whatever
that game
guy's
too.
name.
That game's on NBC
Well,
and
CJ
Peacock
Stroud,
also.
I mean, versus Joe Flacco. That's a big one.
Put it on the poll,
I'd pay for
please,
that.
Juju at Le Batard Show. Do you like change? Yes or no? Because I would say most people don't like change.
Would you pay for the Bucks and Eagles if you had to? Would you? If you had to.
You are paying for it. 'Cause
If
it's
you
on
had to go
ESPN.
find it on Peacock, do the 7-day free trial, would you do it? That's all I'm asking.
You have to have an ESPN Plus account to have that game.
I'm
I'm
no
just
free
trying to
trial.
find the one game this weekend you wouldn't be willing to do anything for. I mean,
You looked it up,
There
Billy?
isn't one. And that's the NFL's point.
all right.
The point is that the number of people who will choose not to go to Peacock is de minimis, and that is exactly why they do a deal like that. And they get to prove with the Thursday night numbers from this year, and you say, Dan, that you sneezed at those numbers. Those numbers on Peacock, they were bigger than over-the-air World Series games or NBA Finals games.
Oh, but that's
they were
no,
significant.
no, but that's cheating. Yes, they're significant numbers. Yes, because football is king, but they're not. They are low football numbers. I don't know about anybody else in our audience, but that Bills Chargers game might as well have not been played because I don't know anybody who was watching it on Peacock.
12 million people is not nobody. It may be nobody you know, but the NFL looks at that package, at the Amazon package, and they look at the growth this year, and they're trying to figure out exactly how much more money they are going to get from doing more streaming packages going forward. Because like it or not, John Skipper went on the Sporting Class and told you that the Super Bowl will eventually be behind a paywall. And people thought that he was basically telling you that Jesus didn't exist. But it's exactly what's happening, and we're watching it happen.
And NBC salivates at the idea of having a game on Peacock because, to Stugotz's point, you just forget to cancel it. So now you have all these new subscribers that are just not paying attention to the fact that they're losing $6.99 a month or whatever it is.
A lot of people do remember.
Billy, I think it's not that. I think when people go to Peacock, what the hope is that it's people who had not been there, and they say, wow, look, I want to watch that show. I hadn't watched that show in so long. It's worth it for me to keep the $7.99 because look at all the other stuff I'm getting on Peacock. You're hoping to convert people, not to fool them.
A lot of people do remember, though, on Monday, our whole office was celebrating Red Zone cancellation day. Yeah.
I made sure to tell everyone, remember to cancel it. $9.99 a month for a channel that doesn't exist for 6 months.
I'm pretty sure. Can you look this up for me by quarter? I'm pretty sure Peacock lost more money than all of the streaming services. I believe they were the big money loser. Look up the numbers for me on that, please. Amazon is offering or has offered $150 million to help the bankrupt RSNs, and Major League Baseball has said no. Can you explain to people briefly, David, the RSN problem that we have and why baseball would say no here?
Oh, this is a good one. I touched on this on this morning's Nothing Personal. wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. You're supposed to promote that, Dan, by the way.
If you can find it.
I don't know how you find that. How do you find it? I don't know how to
It's
get
funny.
to it.
Wherever you get a podcast, you can do it, or YouTube, which is where people are watching right now live.
Can I get it on
We're just
Peacock?
not on Max yet, and we're not on DraftKings Network yet, but who knows, maybe one of these days. Let's talk about the RSNs and streaming, because this is all about streaming. And you said something slightly wrong that I want to correct. MLB does not have the right to say no to Amazon buying some of the debt or paying down some of the debt of the Bally's company. They're the one who's Chapter 11 reorganizing bankrupt. MLB is a creditor through its teams that have these network deals, these regional sports network deals. So MLB can say what they would prefer, but it's a judge who makes the decision. So MLB cannot just say no to Amazon. What Amazon's trying to do, bless their soul, they're trying to get the streaming rights to all these regional sports networks around the country without paying baseball. They want to get it through bankruptcy. It's like going to buy a car through bankruptcy or a house in foreclosure. And MLB is saying, no, we want all the digital rights to all of our teams, package them together like MLS did, like the NFL does, and then we'll sell it to you, Amazon, which means Amazon would pay more money for it. So that's really what's happening behind the scenes, and that's why they delayed the hearing that was supposed to happen Friday, because they're negotiating. And what they're negotiating is what baseball is going to get for the digital rights to these teams, because as we've talked about on this show now, it's all about digital rights now. That is the whole game.
Nothing Personal, as he mentioned, is the name of the podcast. It is every morning live on YouTube at 8 a.m. Thank you, David. We will get to your movie next week, I promise. We will get to your review next week. Thank you, sir. Speaking of Amazon, I saw this the other day. Amazon is, and this is not surprising, now giving you the option of no commercials if you pay $2.99 extra a month. Otherwise, you're going to have to eat the commercials. You guys have gotten to the point where you don't want any commercials with
Nothing
what
makes
you're
me more
watching.
angry.
I'll pay $2.99.
$3. You know?
I hate when they interrupt movies with commercials. That's the worst.
Go pee-pee.
What is your preference, Stugotz, from among the teases? Dentist or briefcase?
Wow.
Dentist, you get to choose.
I want to save dentist. I'd like to talk about the briefcase.
All right. Why, Billy, are you considering becoming a briefcase guy? I heard Tony saying to you, please become one of those. I will bury you every day for being a briefcase guy.
Yeah, I mean that's his only move because he's a dumb bully.
Oh,
Like,
my
so he
only
just
move
goes
of
and
you
he makes
bringing
fun
a
of people.
briefcase into an office
This
where you
is-
wear basketball shorts?
Pardon, is this not a place of business?
It is. You wear
I'm
shorts,
sorry
though.
that we're not all dressed like clowns today, but some people come here to work and to advance the company and raise the company's value. And at times, that involves doing business, and businessmen carry briefcases.
You are not a businessman.
I am a businessman. How am I not?
He's
I
a
don't
modern day.
understand. I take meetings. I have a calendar. I have Zoom links. I'm a businessman.
And what, are you going to put a Zoom link in a briefcase?
No, I put my laptop inside a briefcase, and I put my things, my belongings inside a briefcase. The problem is that I'm surrounded by plebeians like you that don't understand what work needs to be done. So I need to kind of dress down.
You know what
and
my
play
work
the
gets
part
done
of
with
dum-dum.
right here. Look at these hands. This is what my work gets done with
What
right
are
here.
you?
I don't need a briefcase to do work. I do work with this.
You're a construction worker? What do you
No.
even understand the industry you work in? What do you do with your hands?
Ah, buddy, you
Are
don't
a
get
hand
it. You'll get
model?
it one day.
Why not a laptop bag, Billy?
Well, I don't like them. It's a poor man's briefcase. Not literally,
Wow,
but it's
Jesus.
just like it just
It's a fake one.
Attacking
you're
the
right,
poor
yeah.
now. Good job. Keep
It's
going.
not a no.
was a
It's,
Greg
I
Cody line
said
from
not
yesterday.
literally. I'm just saying I have a backpack here, and I feel like a briefcase would add to it, but I also feel like I would be made fun of by people that just don't get it. You know?
You are growing up, and
I'm grown.
You are considering.
Grown ass man.
you are. I don't know if you're grown yet,
Oh, I'm
kids,
well
I
grown. I two of them.
but
I'm the most grown.
Billy, I believe, yes, you're correct that would make people the most grown. But the way that you dress every day
Yeah.
is not briefcase adjacent.
Well, it's freezing in here. What the hell do you want me to do? Like I'm dressed nice today. I have on a pair of
You wore
slacks.
pants today.
I
Wow.
have- If you came to work, you'd know that I've been wearing pants, but you're never here.
I was
you tell
he-
everybody how
I
hard
was
you work
here.
every day. Oh, here
I'm
we go.
always
We came
here.
to this country to work.
That's-
Like if
that
you
is
came on a
true.
raft, which is absurd. You did not. But you come in here like we came to this country to work,
was born
and then
here.
people are just waiting around here for you to do things. So you tell people you're coming in to do this. We're not doing this again. We already did this on Mystery Crate last week. I'm not having this argument with Tony again. I'm not doing it again because it's a whole thing where he pretends to be the hardest working person here, and then they're like, "Where's Tony? Oh, he didn't come to work today." Okay. Oh, I was editing a podcast from home, buddy. You know where you can do that? Right out there. That's
There
where
is
you
a
can do that
schedule
podcast.
that gets made. Like,
we're getting off point here. The briefcase issue.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Like it was Greg Cody's back in my day.
He was
that-
talking about it, and it made me long for the idea of having a briefcase.
he did make it sound appealing.
It did, and then I started looking some up. They're kind of pricey, but I found this one that was 27% off on Amazon.com, and there's different compartments, and I'm not sure. $54.99 is a bit of a commitment to something that is going to just lead to me getting made fun of. Is the thing, because I know that's what's going to happen. Because no one's a serious person around here.
What would you carry in the briefcase?
I've got a top 5 list of things that Billy would carry in his briefcase
Oh,
right
really?
now. Mhm.
Okay,
All right,
good.
we will get to that in a moment.
Can't wait.
Interesting.
But you are. It is practical. But is anyone pulling that off successfully? Do you?
Businessman.
Have you seen a lot of people that
Not
you
here.
would say that person is stylish? Certainly, there must be Wall Street types all over the place. But I think of the backpack as also being so much more comfortable, stylish, and also probably cheaper?
This is it's definitely cheaper. This is the problem. Do we work in the fashion industry? Is this a fashion show? No, it's a place of business. So we should be businessmen, not fashion icons. Like, we're going after the wrong thing here. If we want to be a serious company conducting serious business, briefcases.
Let's get to it. Top 5 things found in Billy's briefcase, according to Tony. Number 5.
Pop-Tarts.
Number 4.
Random papers. Not that they have anything written on them, but there's just random papers kind of thrown about.
Number 3.
Mac and cheese cups. Billy's using the briefcase as a lunchbox now that I
Would
think
those
of it.
fit?
Billy also claimed to be grown moments ago, and that is what a toddler would fill his briefcase
You're talking to a
with.
camouflage sheep here. Like, what are we doing?
Number 2.
Number 2, Coke. Or cola.
Good clarification.
A lot of Coke in briefcases. I
Yeah,
bet.
actually, you know what?
Probably. You know
I
what?
would respect Billy a little bit more if he had a briefcase full of Coke. A cola.
I think that the things most readily associated with briefcase, that business is third. That and now this might be my Miami biases, but I go cocaine and cash 1, 2,
Right.
and then a distance bronze medalist is
Work shit.
Yeah, and a notebook.
But who's carrying a notebook or folders or papers or anything these days? Nobody.
I actually, we'll see how long it lasts. New Year's resolution. I have an actual calendar book, inspired kind of by Billy. Billy's a big calendar book guy, and I have A calendar book. I'm writing stuff down.
Called an agenda.
An agenda book.
No, an agenda.
You're
The
pushing
book
an
is
agenda, Billy.
redundant.
That's
I have an agenda.
No, I mean, there's different agenda. Isn't always a book. You could have an agenda list. Like, that's not true what you just said. The definition of agenda is not a book.
Okay, but hold on a second.
I mean-
I want to explore this.
Call it a dictionary book.
I want to explore this for a second because I do think Billy's got you cornered here.
I don't think he does. Let's look up the definition
I'm
of
arguing
agenda.
with fucking idiots. It's pointless.
I think it is just an agenda as opposed to a book replete with pages
An agenda
of
is a
agendas.
list of meeting activities in the order in which they are to be taken up.
That's right. That's not an agenda
It
book.
could be a book. It could be on a calendar in your kitchen.
A legal pad.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show.
Billy's just sighing back there. He doesn't want to admit he was wrong. It's
You
fine.
now
Billy.
understand why this place isn't worthy of a briefcase.
I now understand it. Number 2.
That was number 2 is Coke. Number 1 is Nipinga. That's what Billy's gonna carry in his suitcase. Nipinga.
Can someone hand me an agenda, please?
Go to Kansas City, Tony.
Oh no!
You know it's
Go to
right on
minus
that.
0.
Go to minus -0.
What is that in Pinga?
Nipinga is
Without a dick, I believe.
Yeah, well, yes, that is.
It's like agenda. It has different meanings.
Good to know.
No dick.
But Nipinga is something that Hispanic people say it's the crassest way of saying nothing. What does that person have as a skill set? Nipinga. Nothing. He's got no skill set.
No skills in that
That's right.
briefcase.
There's no skills in Chris Cody's agenda bookcase.
A lot of things I got to get done this week, though, and I'm checking them off as I do it.
How's this going for you? The details of trying to be an executive producer, because when you were,
I just want to be more organized, but yes, that also is a goal.
but when you were my assistant, you were bad at it. It was hard to reach you.
He didn't have an agenda.
Yeah, I didn't have my agenda.
It was hard to reach you.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to reach him last week. I was trying to set something up with him, and I was like, I'm at dinner, and I was like, I'm taking the kids to school, and we
He's
did
a busy guy.
we
I
did
mean.
the watch party, and I never got to talk to him.
Well,
It didn't go well. Is Tony settled in -0 degree weather, or are we waiting for this? Because
yeah, he's still. I mean, it takes a while to get to.
no, but I want to talk. I'll get to the dentist stuff.
Another tease for the
Further
dentist.
dentist tease in a second. But the cold. I hate the cold, okay? I cannot explain to you how much I hate the cold. It's Cubans, cold, no.
Well, you're not gonna like Vegas because it's the winter and that
Yeah.
night is gonna get really chilly.
Yep.
I'm not going to like that, and I'm not going to like. I'm not going to like a lot of things about what we're doing in.
It scared
Vegas.
me away, by the way. Like, I'm not going to Kansas City. I was going to go. Remember, I was planning, looking at flights. I mean, flights were expensive. But I was just like, -0? Nope, not for me.
It is being said that it is one of the coldest NFL games ever to have been played. And Stugotz is saying, no, -0 is balmy. There will be a wind chill. I'm sure it will feel worse than that.
Cowboys, Packers, Ice Bowl, 1967 with wind chill, -48. I mean, come on. We've had -59 during playoff games with wind chill, okay? The temperature without the wind chill that day for the Ice Bowl, by the way, -13, Dan.
Let me ask the audience this question. Is there a temperature that would cancel a football game? I know we had a game this year that was like 6 hours long because we had weather delays. I think it was a Steeler game. All sorts of lightning and weather delays. Put it on the poll as well, Juju, please, at Le Batard Show. Is there a temperature that would cancel a football game? Because there must be, right? I remember I told you guys the story, right? We always talk about how tough these guys are, and Peanut Tillman obviously was very tough. And he said he played a game in Chicago where he came out of the locker room, he made the first tackle, and he's like, oh, man, I want to go home. That's it. I don't want to do this anymore. This is not because I need to tough it out or anything else. I'd like to quit right now. This is not humane what we're doing out here. This is going to be very unpleasant as a playoff game for the people playing it. Football is unpleasant enough.
I'm seeing that the NFL does not have a specific temperature at which it will automatically call a football game off, but the league does have protocols in place to address extreme weather conditions, including cold temperatures. These protocols prioritize safety, blah, blah, blah. So
are you prioritizing safety if it is negative 47 degrees, as Stugotz said? And now this was a long time ago.
It has to be colder than that.
But my guess is you guys correct me on this, okay? I tell you it's 0 degrees. That's horrifying enough. But 10 to 20 mile an hour winds with it?
That wind is going to cut through you.
Oh my God!
It bites.
It's gonna be like you're playing football, like in a turnstile of samurai swords.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go out to Tony here. He is joining us now from. Wait a minute,
Guys, it's cold. I try to be tough and take my shirt off, but it's a little chilly up here. I don't know if I'm on the right place for the stadium. I think I'm close.
It's getting warmer in here, though. I mean,
I'm not sure. I think the stadium's this way.
I think you made a wrong turn.
Yeah.
Left turn at Albuquerque.
Where am I?
Wait a minute. I asked you to go to Kansas City and report live
This
from
isn't
Kansas.
it?
That's Siberia. Like you are not in Kansas City.
they'd still play in that weather.
They would run up and down.
Put a little Vaseline on them.
those mountains and peaks. You got to be careful saying put a little Vaseline on it when
Oh,
Stugotz is
damn it.
looking at you that way.
Hey-o!
I mean, I'll do it.
That looks nothing like Kansas City.
Dan, have you been to Kansas City?
I have been to Kansas City.
I thought I was betting on you not being to Kansas
really-
City. Be like, this is right behind the stadium, buddy. What are you
It's
talking
right
about?
next to the barbecue place over there.